So, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where we're discussing the surprisingly very good Russian Grand Prix.
Not if you're a McLaren fan.
You've got to admit, it was still a good race.
I didn't
It was
see
it was it was an interesting race. There was a lot going on, but I'm still sad.
What is it this year with the sleepy races being good?
Is it the fact that we're seeing the convergence of all the teams' developments because we're at the end of the regulation cycle and there hasn't been much change in the rules? Are we seeing the convergence in performance because teams are now reaching a point where they're getting the most out of their packages? And is that therefore making the racing more interesting because the cars are actually closer in general performance? Obviously, there's still differences, like the Williams and the Haas, because as well as George did in qualifying, he was always going to go backwards, and that was always going to tank my fantasy score.
Yep.
Sad noises.
I think the thing is, like, everyone compared when Verstappen took his penalty, everyone compared it to when he came through in 2018, and he was like fifth by lap 9 or something, wasn't it? I think nowadays we've got a much more competitive midfield, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's a big part. So if someone like Norris gets onto pole from a free qualifying, he can hold it for almost all the race. But...
Do you know what I found really funny? I was on social media on Sunday night, and everyone was like, "Oh, Max is a god. He went from P20 to P2." But if Lewis does that, it's the car.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been lucky 100 times now.
Yeah.
No. The wins he got in his McLaren were not luck. The wins he got in the Mercedes.
Okay, it's been lucky. What?
A majority.
Yeah. Like about 70 times or something. Yeah.
And Schumacher built the team, of course, in his Mercedes days. Nothing to do with Hamilton.
Yeah. It was all Schumacher. Yeah.
Schumacher laid the foundations for that. So really all of these wins should just be added onto Schumacher's tally. So Schumacher's on, 153?
No, but then you've got to add... Well, no, you don't add Rosberg and Bottas, do you? Because
that's different somehow. Yeah.
No, you can't add a German to a German's tally. That's just sacrilege.
Social media, everyone. Don't go to it when you want to talk about Formula One. But yeah, the sleepy races have actually been pretty good. Is it though partially because we basically seen the exact same cars run around the exact same circuits 12 months ago?
Well, Monaco wasn't very good. That's the only one.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Monaco is going to take a lot to fix.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As is my camera stability, apparently. Nice. Cool. Apologies for the sort of ad hoc setup. I have literally been in this room for 3 hours, having just moved in today. So it's going to be a bit earthquake. So we'll try and keep everything to a minimum. But
we fixed Monaco by giving all of the Formula One drivers a Formula E car for the day and just go race.
You fix Monaco by giving them a go-kart because you can actually fit 2 of them side by side. And they're all equal performance.
Yeah, that helps.
Well, some drivers will moan.
Yeah, the drivers that aren't good enough. Because if you're in equal cars, if you moan, you're just not good enough. You can't hack it. There's my hot take for the day.
More on that when we talk about Formula 2 and 3 next week and the Schumacher documentary.
Finally.
Have you watched it yet?
I haven't, but
Shock.
I have a 3-hour flight on Saturday. So that's my plane watching.
It was out almost 2 weeks ago.
I'm aware of that. But I knew we couldn't talk about it until next week. So I've scheduled it in for
I'm
my
going to have to re-watch it just to remind myself what happened now.
Have fun. But yeah, so I'll have a different setup next week. It'll be from some random Italian hotel room. But more on that later because we'll need to see if my internet works.
Lol.
One sentence race reviews, everyone, for the Russian Grand Prix. Ben.
When it rains, it pours.
Accurate. Alex.
Another boring Hamilton Verstappen 1-2.
Nia.
I'd rather be in Spain because no, pain, isn't it?
Richard.
As far as I'm concerned, this race did not happen.
So Richard wants a spa.
No, I just want a time stone and an undo.
Mine
Hamilton
is
is back to 99 wins.
Perfect.
Can it rain every week? That's just mine. Can it rain every week?
Just not too much.
Not a spa.
Well, according to the forecast, it normally can, but we actually got what we were promised this time.
Yeah.
And it's the one time the rain actually comes in the last few laps of the race instead of like 20 minutes after the podium celebration.
Well, I think everyone still had PTSD.
The worst one
didn't they?
is
no one wanted it.
The worst one is when the rain arrives immediately after the checkered flag falls. Like literally the last drivers just cross the line and then it rains.
My conspiracy theory side is desperately trying to link the weather to Michael Massey's McLaren hate.
Michael Massey made it rain. What?
Yeah.
No, he put the Bernie Eccleston sprinklers on.
Yeah, the sprinklers
just after Norris went past the pits.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing to do with Norris
I mean,
turning around and going, "Shut up! I'm not."
He did it at the
box."
exact furthest part of the track as well.
Definitely nothing to do with Norris going, "Shut up! We're not boxing."
No, definitely not.
No,
because the team didn't tell him that it was going to get heavier. Sad noises.
Shall we talk about qualifying then?
What a qualifying that was, Norris! That's the only thing that happened this week. There was qualifying. That was it.
Race was cancelled.
Qualifying.
Didn't happen.
Richard, we had a race.
No, we didn't.
Points were awarded. Full points, not even half points. Full points.
Unbelievable.
And Schumacher retired.
Pain.
I think.
Oh, mate, and he retired. That's going to tank my fantasy score even further.
Yeah, Mick retired. I think Latifi might have retired as
he
well.
He did. Yeah.
But he's classified.
So it works differently on F1 Play and F1 Fantasy, though.
So if you have him in the fantasy team, I think it might work because he's technically finished. He is classified.
I don't know why you'd have Latifi.
So true.
I mean, why would you have Mick Schumacher?
Because normally if someone retires, he goes forwards, and that's easy points. He always outqualifies Mazepin. That's easy points.
There's someone I see on Twitter. I think it might be at Formula One. I don't actually know, but they've got their thing is just poor man's team where it's just Schumacher, Mazepin, Latifi, Tsunoda, and Russell, and then Haas. They haven't even reached 1,000 points yet. I don't think they will. They're like on 500 points.
Chris?
Yes. I did a couple of weeks ago, I'll have you know. I think.
Chris, you're on 1,980.
It's only like 2,000 points, Richard.
Yeah, all my teams are over 2,000.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, but I don't care.
The lowest is Alex with Falcon Back.
Wait for that.
Yeah.
I haven't changed my team. I've had Perez as turbo driver or whatever it is for like weeks, and he's got the same points as George Russell in the last 8 races.
Yeah, I've had Perez as my turbo driver since the start of the season.
I was literally funny thing is I was looking at it before and I don't even know how to make transfers, so
that's good.
I've got Lando as turbo driver on both my teams.
Anyway, qualifying.
Yeah.
Q1, we lost 5 drivers. Yeah, Max just decided not to do qualifying.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. As it turns out, though, he could have started as high as P16 had he done quali.
Would he have, though? Because of the amount of engine penalties he took?
He'd have been at the back anyway.
Yes, because all he had to do was out-qualify anyone by 3 grid places. Because when you take a whole new power unit, they don't give you a 60-place grid penalty anymore. They just require you to start the race from the back of the grid. So they've changed the wording of it now.
Cody's update, please.
Which is why Leclerc started in front of Verstappen and Bottas started in front of Leclerc.
I just figured that was just the order that they'd announced that they were taking new power units in.
Yeah, I thought so.
Coincidentally, yes, but it's because in qualifying that was the order.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so in the qualifying, Q1 was quite exciting. There was a lot of movement around the drop zone. We nearly lost the Williams twice, if I remember rightly. In Q1, they were flirting with being eliminated.
Well, I mean, it was damp, wasn't it? So it was because it had rained heavily enough that FP3 got washed out, but then it had just not rained in between. So we went out on circuit with no rain, but inters, and it was just kind of gradually drying. But the first couple of sessions, it was obviously nowhere near slicks.
And Alonso just went full wet.
Yeah, well, there's always one, isn't there? There's one that gambles.
Who was it did it in Germany a couple of years ago? Everyone's on the
Gasly.
Yeah, and he just comes out full wet.
So yeah, no, there's always one that gambles, but it's very rarely the move that pays off.
Yeah.
But if it does pay off,
you look like a genius. Yeah. It's can tell you the last time it paid off. Then we had Q2 where we lost Charles, who just didn't set a time. Latifi, who's actually listed in Q2 as a did not start.
Love that.
UK Pierre and Vettel by what was it? 1,000? No, not 1,000. 700ths of a second or something like that. It was something minusculely small.
It says
a lot of anger.
It says 5/10 on the timing.
Yeah, that's not right. That's to first, I think. It was 8/10 to first.
No, he's 5/10 behind Ocon in 10th in Q2. Ocon got a 146.070. Vettel got a 146.573. So I think
was it that it was incredibly tight because Seb was going tonto?
No, I think they told him that before times had been set, or maybe I don't know. But
did he have a time deleted?
Maybe.
I think he might have had a time deleted.
Stewards man, get the doc.
But I'm checking. No, he did not.
Did anyone?
Yes. All cooldown laps or just very slow laps because they're all above 2 minutes. I genuinely thought he was closer because, as I said, he was going absolutely mental in the car.
Yeah, I did hear the team radio, and they did tell him that, but so I don't know.
Yeah,
a mystery.
Strange. Oh, that's because Ocon wasn't 10th. I don't think.
Yeah,
Ocon wasn't 10th.
I think Sainz was 10th because he got a 146.521.
Yeah, 146.521.
Yeah, and then Vettel got a 146.573. So
yeah,
he was
500ths. Yeah,
500ths. Yeah.
So poor Seb, but that's what happens when you drive an Aston Martin. Q3 was all about the strategic call. Massive brain from Russell to just go prep the slicks.
Minimal brain from Lewis to drive into the pit wall.
It should have been the easiest pole ever for Mercedes, but there was something. I just knew they weren't going to get it somehow. It's just
it was the picture where the mechanic picked up the front wing off Lewis's car and it just went.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
the Mercedes way. They just miss open goal after open goal, apart from in the race. So.
Well, I mean, it's sort of Lewis's fault, sort of Mercedes, because you heard the team radio where Bono's like, "Yeah, Russell's on slick. Let's just do a lap on inters." Rather than coming in and boxing for slicks and doing a fast lap.
Yeah, he'd never got pole anyway. So you need the extra warm-up lap.
Yeah. That's how Russell got third, because he had that extra lap to put the temp in the tyres.
Yeah. So, but even then, he wasn't actually that far off pole. That's the
no, but still. Well, I mean, he was a second.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of the thing, between Inter and Slick,
wasn't
that far off pole. And to still get P4 on the inters when most of the other drivers' times are all slick tyres. That just proves a point of that Mercedes is fast and that Lewis can handle the wet.
As can Lando.
Except in the race.
Hey.
No need to go that far.
Let's not.
Shall we talk about the race?
No.
But yeah, Q3 finished as Norris, Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Ricardo, Alonso, Bottas, Stroll, Perez, Ocon.
Just such a wholesome front three.
And then it was Sunday.
And then Sainz took the lead into turn 2.
Sainz did take the lead into turn 2. But then again, that wasn't unexpected. It's Russia.
Yeah,
Whoever
exactly.
starts second usually leads into turn
some of
2.
these tracks, it's actually like a disadvantage to start on pole at
Yeah.
some tracks, isn't it? Like Russia, Mexico,
That
probably
was
Spa.
That was the
well.
thing. I was so gassed that
Right.
Norris got pole, and I was like, "Wait, it's Russia.
Yeah.
This is not good."
Well, the thing is, it was like Hamilton was literally going to come through and almost take the lead, wasn't he, with the slipstream? And then he just had to slam on the brakes, ended up 7th.
Yeah, he just got
That's
boxed in and ended up 7th.
And then obviously Alonso did his unbelievable corner cutter.
How
I saw
that wasn't leaving the track and gaining an advantage, I have no idea.
Well,
the thing
technically, he
is-
did do the thing right. He just went very fast.
Only Alonso would think of that. Like he practiced it as well, didn't he? on
Yeah, he
the,
practiced it on the laps of the grid.
We saw someone get a 5-second. Was it? I think it was Perez got a 5-second penalty for something similar in Le Castellet a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Opening lap took to the runoff at turn 4, and then rejoined and then got slapped with a 5-second penalty because he left the track and gained an advantage, even though he followed the race director's notes. So
Well, I mean, the thing is with Alonso, he stayed in the same position, but he probably actually gained because had he taken the corner, he'd have lost out. Like, He was just basically avoiding any chance of losing his weight.
Being overtaken.
Yeah.
all the time
And
you
it's-
have to
it's
keep
only
your
Alonso
space.
would do that.
At
The
least
thing
he
is, only
didn't do a
Alonso would do
science
that.
and just drive into the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
That is honestly, that is what I was waiting for. I was going to, because
Yeah.
that chicane is just narrow as hell, and then you've just got a nice wall there. And Sainz proved it last year. You take it like 5k too fast, and game over.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, like only Fernando Alonso would think of that, knowing full well that Massey and co will be asleep and not recognise what he's done.
Even though he forewarned them to it on the warm-up lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Michael.
I guess as Alex said, he didn't actually gain any positions, which might have been what got him away with it.
But what he did gain is a lot of momentum.
Yeah. A lot of momentum, probably a lot of time by not braking into turn 2. Because he just straight lined the thing.
So do the rules need to be changed so it's not leaving the track and gaining an advantage, but leaving the track and keeping momentum?
I think it's deliberately leaving the track to not.
Deliberately leaving the track
Yeah.
and gaining a lasting advantage.
Well, it's just deliberately leaving the track is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like he has technically bailed out of a possible collision, but still,
Yeah.
That is
in a
definitely the
different
case
way
they'd
to what
argue.
we were talking about that, obviously, weren't we, with Monza and bailing out of crashes with Verstappen and Hamilton.
Man's
But
bailed
I
out
think
of
that
a
was
crash
slightly-
before a crash has even materialized.
I think that's slightly different. Yeah.
Man said there's a 1% chance I'm not taking it.
Yeah, as we said, Lewis got boxed in and just started going backwards, and then got stuck in the DRS train of Russell.
The fact that happened, the fact that Russell in a Williams, just because it's got a Merc engine, is able to just keep everyone behind him is hilarious.
It's crazy how different the Merc is, in terms of performance, how different the Merc is in clean air versus dirty air.
Yeah,
I mean, Hamilton,
Yeah.
Hamilton's pace in clear air when everyone pitted was ridiculous, but then he couldn't pass, Russell, Stroll. Could he?
Yeah, that Merc is designed to lead. And I think
I mean, at
that
one
is a
point-
major weakness in it, to be honest.
At one point, it really wasn't looking good for Hamilton because he was stuck in that train and Verstappen was, coming through the field. At one point, he was about 5 seconds behind him, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Then
They
Max
pitted
only
together,
ended
yeah.
up in P2 at the end because of the rain. He got stuck in P8. He couldn't get past.
Yeah, it was when they pitted, it really flipped in Hamilton's favour between
I
the two.
mean,
Wasn't it?
you can
But
say
he's
that,
a god.
but you can say that anyone ended up where they did because of the rain. Lewis
Yeah.
ended up
Yeah.
on top step because of the rain. Valtteri ended up P5 because of the rain. Like he was languishing in like P14 for half the race.
Yeah.
Like where was he? This is supposed to be like his track.
Well,
He's got VTB all around it. How much more support does he need?
I
He was
felt
letting
like-
Verstappen get P2.
Yeah,
I mean, he literally just said after you and let him through. So
Yeah, he didn't really defend that much.
I mean, that was
Didn't defend at
that
all.
was always going to fail. Like sending him to the back of the grid to supposedly hold up Verstappen. That was just destined for him to end up behind him early on in the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, we didn't bother to give you a seat for next year. But can you keep your teammate's title rifle behind you, please? Please. No? Oh. Okay. It's almost like they're surprised that he's not playing the full team game anymore. Because let's be real, as much as you can say, oh yeah, he's still driving for them and he's still getting points, it's not as involved as he would have been had he had his contract renewed. He would have he would have just parked the bus in the middle of the track and just said, crash into me or not. You're not coming
And
around.
then we would have had a collision.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he'd have done his job.
Yeah.
And then we'd be
Well,
arguing
2.0.
about, I mean, yeah, well, what was that? The blockade, about the Bottas blockade. But instead, it's more of just the Bottas bottle job.
Bring back Bottas bowling.
Bring back
Abu
the
Dhabi.
porridge.
Abu Dhabi. Final race to decide the title. Valtteri.
It's when you just see like Mercedes accidentally go live on Instagram and it's just Toto force feeding Valtteri porridge. Just like, you will drive better.
Or just the last race in Abu Dhabi, just Toto hands Valtteri a Wii remote. It's like, you know what to do.
Then things sort of settled down following the first lap. A bit of action up in the midfield.
Charles, 9 places opening lap.
Yeah.
Where? And then you look down and it's like Max has gained 3. Right.
Sonoda just having a disaster of an opening lap, end up last.
Him was like 12th as well.
Just
Yeah.
Sonoda things.
He's been confirmed for next season as well.
Well, we all know what that means and how quickly a Red Bull seat can definitely not be confirmed. I wouldn't say he's safe, but he's as safe as he's signed a contract.
Who are we talking about?
Sonoda.
Oh. Surely they're not going to promote him.
Oh,
Surely.
no. But like they're all Red Bull affiliate seats, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like they're never safe. Even if you've signed a contract, you're not safe. You will get demoted, promoted, swapped.
Sacked.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't think I've ever seen someone be sacked from AlphaTauri or Toro Rosso, as it were.
No, they've always just left their contract to expire, haven't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
the
just let
Carlos
it end.
Sainz came in. He went to Renault, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't he like on
2017.
loan for them or something like that?
Hmm.
And then he was on loan for like 1 season, and the next season he was officially out of Red Bull. It was something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen pictures from 2017, and he's still got a Red Bull helmet.
I think that's a bit like Albon going to Williams next year.
Yeah, I think it is. Red Bull
Let's-
have too many drivers.
I wonder if the Williams will still be a bus,
I hope not.
except when it rains.
Or in a straight line.
Or in Australia, yeah. We'll see what
Then
Coffee
it's the
Cash-
bus from Speed.
Yeah.
The bus of speed.
Coffee Cash world champion next year.
Oh God, please no.
But there could be worse people, so
This is true. We
It
should
could
count
be
blessings.
Daddy's Cash the second.
Daddy's rubles.
Mafia monies.
No, that's Giovinazzi.
Oh, yeah. No, that's Italian state government money
Yeah, that's
Mafia.
the Italians' money, the Italian people's money.
for Mazepin. It's money. Yeah, Mazepin did run, I think, as high as P12, and then he did just Mazepin things and ended up last.
Lol.
by the end of the race. I wonder if anyone has Mazepin in their fantasy team. That would be interesting.
If they do, they're deluded.
Yeah.
Well, if they do, they're not taking it seriously.
Yeah, this is true.
I've seen one person.
Well, I mean,
the one I explained earlier.
he can't go backwards if he always starts last.
This is true.
Yeah,
But he doesn't get points for out qualifying teammate or outperforming teammate or.
LS McInnes.
Sorry,
This is true.
Mazepin did not finish last. He finished second last because after 47 laps, Latifi had decided he'd had enough and went home.
Understandable. Have a great day.
Yeah, fair enough.
wish Lando done the same.
I wish the
Well,
race
then he wouldn't have
director
got
had done
any
the same.
points.
did.
Yeah, but at least then it was just no heartbreak. He just didn't want to do the rest of the race.
We had
Just
four
Before Lando,
different
that he
leaders.
still got 7 points.
We had 4 different leaders that
Could have
race.
been 26 though.
Could have been 26, but he didn't box.
Well, you got me there. So
Ultimately, as much as I like Lando, I don't think he's got anyone to blame but himself for not winning that race.
Yeah.
I mean, he
pretty
handled the
much.
pressure so well, didn't he? Like, he literally got Lewis Hamilton behind you, having gained about a second a lap. Charging for his 100th win. Norris
Yeah.
going for his first, but then
In fairness, I do want to say at least Hamilton's 100th win was not a Valtteri, it's James.
well, it was
Yeah.
probably his second biggest margin, wasn't it? After the Silverstone
After
one,
Britain
3-1.
2008, I think.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah.
Not
But,
sure.
Yeah, where he won by nearly 2 minutes or something.
yeah. But I mean, Norris handled the pressure so well, but then I think all that, when it started to rain, he was shouting on the radio, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think that was maybe a little bit of inexperience, maybe a bit too overeager to try and win. And in the end, I don't know. It's a debate over who was more at fault, but I don't think either the team or Norris. I mean, it's difficult to apportion blame because he still did such an amazing race, didn't he? But
I just feel like the team needs to overrule him at some stage,
Yeah.
I think a
well,
lot of
Mercedes
it,
did.
a lot of it does come down to inexperience from Lando and the team because it's like coming to like new management and they're not used to being like winning races because they've only done like one really since they've started becoming good. So a lot of it is just down to like inexperience from Lando and the team.
Tell me
Really.
I think,
tell me the end of race was chaos without telling me the end of the race was chaos. Look at
Yeah.
that picture.
So what Richard has,
I'll insert it.
yeah, this is the graph showing every driver's position in the race, and how they were at each lap. Just look at all those madness of lines. If you work backwards, you can find out who each driver is. But
I mean,
yeah,
I could have cropped it differently, but if you know the result.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a bit mad.
With
Had it not rained, I do still think Lewis would have caught and passed Lando
I don't reckon he would.
because he was
stuck
given it.
sort of-
He was given it a very good go, and only dropped back out of DRS range when the rain hit.
He was stuck at like 2 seconds though, wasn't he? For ages.
Yeah, and then he
Yeah,
closed.
Lando
He
was
only
holding
was
the
sitting-
gap very well.
It was sitting about 1.2. Then he got into DRS range, and then the rain arrived.
But I don't know if he didn't really get into DRS until the rain.
Yeah.
did he? And then
because Norris
Yeah.
ran wide, and that put him in DRS range.
I mean, he couldn't pass Ricciardo when he was on, in the DRS train. I don't think he'd have won it. I think Norris would have had it, but I mean, the issue was in the end. I think McLaren just didn't know the extra rain was coming, did they?
Yeah, it was like the intensity, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that the two of them had about 50 seconds back to third. Could have.
That's what I
I mean,
thought
McLaren
they
were desperate
would.
to win, but in hindsight, it's easy to say. But
Yeah, hindsight is 2020, and
I think you saw the difference of Mercedes and Hamilton have been winning for 8 years. McLaren have just had their first win in 9 years. Norris hasn't won a
Yeah.
race. I think, his time will come.
yeah, they're definitely
Well,
going to learn from this.
Yeah, it's sad, but 100 wins. I mean, 100 wins. We have to talk about that as much as you
Yeah.
don't want to.
But you can.
As much as the majority doesn't want to. I mean,
We do have to recognise the achievement that is 100 race wins in Formula One. For those of you listening on Spotify, Richard has just left the podcast.
Just jumped in his bed and Spare.
Cried.
Sad
But, yeah,
Schumacher fanboy noises.
I don't think we have to acknowledge how much of an achievement 100 race wins is.
Yeah, it's an achievement. But to be honest, for me, as soon as he'd overtaken Michael, it was just like, right, that's it, game over. Now it's just extending the inevitable non-passing lead of stupidness. Because let's be honest, like everyone goes on in football in particular about like the Premier League centurions, and it's like you can score 2 goals a game, 3 goals a game if you're really on it sometimes, and you can if you got really lucky, you could get 100 goals in like 50 matches, but only one person gets a race win out of the 20 drivers. And you've got to be there a lot to get even, well, I mean, Seb's won 4 world championships and he's like, what, 50 odd? Like not even 50 wins.
Yeah.
So to get 100.
Hasn't he gotten a win in every season he's been in as well?
He's the only driver to
Yeah.
ever record a win in every single season he's raced.
I think someone said he's won almost 10% of all F1
It was like
races ever,
yeah,
which is just ridiculous.
9.7, I think it was.
It's not quite. Like,
Yeah,
You remember we were China 2018 with
Yeah.
F1000.
Was it not China
that's true.
19?
Yeah,
It was 19.
2019.
19.
Yeah.
So if he wins like 2 or 3 more, I don't know. I can't do the maths, but it's still insane. Like 100 victories. Think about someone like Lando Norris. You're going to win his first one 100 times. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's been 1,050 World Championship races. Lewis Hamilton has won 100 of them.
It's unbelievable. I think we'll only people go on about, the car, he gets lucky, like all that rubbish. But
It's still him that's won them.
Yeah, and the thing is, with using it's the car, he still needs to drive like hell to stay in that car.
Yeah.
Bottas has the car.
So
Yeah.
Lewis has won 9.5% of all F1 races ever.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Hamilton joined Mercedes and they second year became, the dominant team, and he left McLaren, who, were fighting for titles, and then they didn't win a race until 2 weeks ago. Over 9 years, wasn't it?
Schumacher's foundation work at Mercedes is just unparalleled.
Oh, definitely. You look at it as well. The McLaren in 2009 and 10 was not a good race car.
Well, 10 was all right. 9 was shocking.
I mean, you look at Ferrari after Schumacher left.
Yeah.
It's the same as same as Schumacher. Like, he took time, but he played a part in building up Ferrari, didn't he? What they became.
Well, if you'd watched the documentary, you'd know that. But it wasn't like it was. Yeah. It's not like Schumacher just stepped into the car at Ferrari and it was just instant success. As much as we remember Schumacher and Ferrari as like the synonymous partnership of Formula One dominance and success, it was not a straightforward thing. It was something that took quite a few years to get right. But when they did, boy, did they. And I think that's what sets Mercedes apart, is they got that going quicker.
Straight away, yeah.
It only took them a couple of years and then gone, let's go. And
they got all the people in place. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
And you look at it as well, I don't think we will see any driver anytime soon coming close to the championship in your rookie year. 1 point Lewis lost out on that world championship by.
Well, it's just because, like, as much it
annoys me because fault.
Yeah, but like, when are we going to put a young hotshot in a potentially title-winning car? Because we see it so much. Like, Lando Norris and George Russell obviously have the potential to win a world championship, and I think if they chucked George in that Mercedes in his first season, he could have been up there. But we just never got that option.
I think that's the thing, though. Lewis, to do that in his first season against Alonso,
a two-time world champion.
I mean, I think that 2007 season is ridiculously underplayed. How good that is.
It's like first race at Melbourne. He just went like straight around the outside of Alonso, didn't he?
Imagine a rookie coming in now and jumping in the Mercedes alongside Hamilton and doing that to him in the first race. Like,
That'd be
just,
hilarious.
That'd be mental.
I mean, the thing is now as well, people say he's maybe a bit fortunate to be leading the title this season, which he probably is. He's made a couple, obviously Russia, qualifying, and then Baku, the brake magic, whatever. But it's just
Russia, brake magic, and his poor pit crew.
Yeah. And
his best impression of Lance Stroll.
But that's just like the standards that everyone holds him to are so high. Like he literally, when was the last time, if you don't count Monza, like whatever your opinion is on that, when was the last time he retired from a race from his own fault? When was it's probably, I mean, Spain 2016. You could say.
I still think that's Nico's fault.
Yeah, but
even as much as I like not a Lewis fan, that's Nico's fault for me.
Everyone knows it's Nico's fault.
It's just he refuses to accept it.
He did not leave the space.
That's the thing. The only DNFs I can remember of Lewis's are mechanical. Like was it? I think it was 2016 Malaysia. Engine blow up. And
then, the one that basically cost him the world championship.
Yeah, I think it was either 07 or 08 at the Nürburgring, where his tyre just stopped and he just went straight on into the Schumacher S's.
Yeah.
And that was a big impact. But I don't recall him. Like, I'm sure obviously there is, and I'm just forgetting it. But
I mean, like days maybe, but
he crashed at Monza.
His streak of just finishing races is obscene.
Well, he holds the record for most consecutive race finishes.
That's the last time in like 2018, before Monza.
Yeah, before Monza, he had won in about 4 years.
And that streak of consecutive race finishes was only broken because of COVID.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have ran until Monza. So,
race start, because he didn't start in Monza. No.
No, the actual race finishes one as well.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I think he's got most records
he had
now.
the most consecutive finishes in the points as well that ran until Sakhir.
Oh, yeah.
And would have ran until, I think, Baku this year.
That's only like 4 more.
But even then, like, it was already an obscene number.
Yeah, no, it's like when you look at it if you looked at it from a purely statistical point of view, it's insane. And as much like, because yes, he's hit, what is it, like 5,000 career points or whatever it is. There's something dumb, insanely high, but that's since we've changed the point system, because you convert like Michael Schumacher's wins and into the new point system, and maybe he's on slightly more, and you convert. I said slightly, sir. You convert like Juan Manuel Fangio, and he'd be on more than they were on then.
Oh yeah, more points. Yeah,
but, yeah. That's what I'm on about.
More races.
I thought you said more than Hamilton. I'm like,
no. I just mean more in terms of, because you only got 10 points for a win in Schumacher's day.
Yeah.
And it was only the first 8 drivers that got points or something dumb. I much prefer the new system, just throwing that out there. But it's as much as it is completely crazy, his stats, there is a certain skew to it, being his stuff is mostly since the point system was adjusted. So in terms of the whole like career points thing, I take with a rather large grain of salt because of that. But in terms of wins, in terms of podiums, in terms of pole positions, fastest laps, that correlates to any season.
That's the current points adjust.
Yeah, see, Michael is a lot closer, but definitely was not on
you compare it to here, where Michael is 7th with 1,566.
He's more than doubled his points.
Yeah,
that's the thing, because we're on.
Lewis has gained 400 points as well.
Well, yeah, because he started in 07 before they changed the thing in 2010. I think it was 2010.
Remember,
but yeah, like the amount of Grand Prix we have in a season now also helps that for Lewis, because he's had more races in a dominant car before regs change.
Just look at that, 48 consecutive points finishes.
Here's the thing,
2018 British Grand Prix to the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix. That is an obscene amount of finishes in the points.
Some obviously some people are argue like, you know, with the most race wins, for example, Schumacher might still have more if
there were
like 23
equal races in the calendar. Yeah,
even so, that's why you can't compare, you know, the whole like GOAT debate. You can't compare like Fangio and Senna and Hamilton. Can you?
Yeah, it's a combination of different technologies,
Mm.
different
People
calendars.
just need to, it's obvious, but people just need to appreciate all the greats. And I think Hamilton will be more appreciated when he retires, you know.
Yeah,
I guess
Schumacher got a lot of
the rose tinted vision of the past will always make everyone look better.
Yeah.
Hell,
I
Rosberg
guess-
looks great.
Yeah. The one it always comes down to, though, if you're really going to talk about it, is World Championships.
Yeah, that is the key
And
number.
I think that it does look inevitable that Lewis will eventually win an eighth, whether that this season or at some point. And so he will take the title of greatest F1 driver of all time because he has the most World Championships.
You'll never take it
Well-
from my heart.
Well, kind of segueing back onto Russia, actually Verstappen probably won out, didn't he? In terms of the title battle, probably
Yeah.
it was a net gain. wasn't it?
Definitely.
That was a
It was
net gain.
He would have
Even
lost
though he's-
so many points.
Even though he's actually
had it not
gone
rained.
down the positions in terms of championship order, he's definitely taken a
Yeah.
big step forward because he's got a whole new pool of components, and he
he's got a
finished
fresh
second.
engine. He's got better tracks for Red Bull. Hamilton's probably going to have to take a penalty somewhere. And well, I mean, there was a stat, wasn't there, recently? I think I saw a stat like Mercedes have led about 18 laps in the last 6 races, and both their drivers are like 7th and 8th on most laps led.
Yeah,
Which
I
is pretty
saw
crazy.
I saw something. It was like Lewis Hamilton's only led about 11 laps.
Hmm.
Like Daniel and Lando have both led more laps than Lewis.
Yeah, and
In
Sainz as well, I
McLaren's.
think, was in there.
As we said at the start of the season, I think in our very first episode, it doesn't matter how many laps you lead.
Mm.
It only comes down to who leads the final lap.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for Verstappen, it was really going wrong, wasn't it? After the pit stops, you know, he got overtaken by Alonso, couldn't repass him.
He
down
was
to 7th.
eighth.
With the rain, even though Hamilton actually ended up winning from it, the points gap was smaller than it would have been when if it had just been a dry finish and it had been, you know, 2nd and 7th.
Yeah.
Actually. So yeah, I think Verstappen is favourite from now, and actually that probably was a better weekend for him in terms of the championship, possibly even than Hamilton.
Yeah, because I mean, they took the engine penalties there. A, because he had his grid pace penalty anyway, but B, because Mercedes are typically more dominant at Russia than any of the other subsequent tracks that we're going to. So it made sense for them to take it here, given those two circumstances. And the fact that they still managed to somehow wangle a P2 out of it is just like the ultimate cherry on top of just, we were going to do it anyway, but hey, we got 18 points. Nice. So, yeah, it's a great move by Red Bull. It's definitely one of the, I mean, it's all just a massive game of chess at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's going to move which piece when, who's going to take what penalty where, and how is that going to impact you, and how lucky are you going to get? Because let's face it, a lot of that is down to luck. If it wasn't for the rain, Verstappen wouldn't be where he was. Neither would Hamilton, but the gap would be bigger. But, you know, it's all this, that, and the other. So
I think it'll all depend on how Turkey drives. I think we will go. Considering it's only 2 weeks away.
I meant more of they just complained of grip or lack of.
Because if it's anything like last year where the Mercedes were nearly knocked out in Q2, I think it was, because they were just so slow. I think we might see the penalties there because we know you can pass at Turkey. You saw it with Lewis. He somehow won the World Championship at it.
Yeah, could you put that down to the conditions though?
Yeah, the conditions at Turkey last year were so
the
weird.
Slick to mediates.
Yeah.
And also
Into slicks.
And also when Mercedes, well, assuming Hamilton takes a penalty, which I think he probably will. I think it's just too much of a risk not to do it.
It's a good point. We are assuming that he will take a penalty. We
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think-
how worn his components are, and if they've just played a bit of a mind
Yeah.
game by saying, "Oh, we need to take one," then Red
I mean,
Bull
if
will be like, "Yes."
If he does take them, we know how bad the Mercedes is in dirty air. We know it's probably not going to be as crazy a race as Sochi. You know, he's going to. You'd imagine Verstappen will get an easy win.
But then, is it really all that bad in the dirty air? We look at Monza last year when Bottas went backwards and just couldn't pass, and then Lewis came out after his after his stop-go penalty, and was just like, "Lol, what are opposition cars?" and went from like 17th to 8th by the flag.
I think it was just like an extreme tyre advantage, wasn't it? Maybe. Or...
The tyres would have helped, but if the car can't drive in the dirty air, the tyres can't do everything.
So if you didn't take the penalty at Turkey, which is the next round, would you take it at Qatar or Mexico?
I think it would
I
be
was
Mexico tactically.
Yeah.
Or Brazil?
Well, Mexico, Red Bull should be
Yeah.
really strong, shouldn't they? And Mercedes
Mexico
always
is,
struggled there.
yeah.
I was
The
thinking if we have a
altitude.
sprint at Brazil, you'd think maybe there.
Yeah,
But then is that too late to even make a difference?
Well, you've still got that TBC round and then the 2 subsequent rounds after that.
Yeah,
So, that's
think-
4 full race
Yeah,
distances.
so because Brazil is a bit earlier.
I think Mercedes will be hoping that TBC doesn't get filled. And we just scrap it and
Well,
have one less race.
soon find out, question mark. We've got to find out at some stage.
Yeah. Literally that week.
Oh yeah, we're
just
not actually going anywhere, guys.
They just don't even announce anything, but they get everyone to schedule in TV. But you're not allowed to tell them where you are. It just
what
goes
happens,
live.
all of the teams assemble at Silverstone, and then they get given one of those Top Gear challenge envelopes, and it's like the race is at, and it just gives you a circuit name, and it's just go.
Oh,
that'd be brilliant.
yeah.
Just that all of the teams panic as they've got to get like the other side of Europe in 24 hours.
Yeah, the teams moan that they're stuck on the motorway.
There's no fuel.
That would be quite interesting though. Just no member of Formula One staff is allowed to leak anything. It's held so watertight. And then you just go live to the circuit for FP1. It's like, surprise! We're in Malaysia.
No, they go live for the drivers' press conference, and all of the drivers are just like running to their cars, like, we're on the way, doing it all over Zoom on their phone. And it's just like, so what do you think of the new Grand Prix at the Palau ring that definitely didn't just get made up by me?
Yeah.
And totally exists and isn't in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But I mean, it would be hilarious, but it definitely wouldn't work. But we can dream, right? Just a random event where they just say, we're not going to tell you where it is until
There.
3 p.m. UK time, and then you've got until 9 a.m. UK time to get to the track. If you don't make it, you're not allowed in any of the free practice sessions.
No, but don't tell the drivers. You can tell everyone else in the team, just the drivers. So that's it's a bit easier to manage, but a bit more chaos.
Just have Valtteri stuck at an airport in Finland again.
Yeah.
That was Baku, wasn't it? He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just see all the drivers in one terminal at an airport be like, yep, it's happening.
All of them at the Nice airport, like, what's up, guys?
New race, they have to take their F1 cars from circuit to circuit.
Red Bull could do that. They've
Well,
done
didn't
it.
we had that camera, didn't we, where when Verstappen broke down in practice in Imola, we just saw the onboard of him on his car on the road.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the many beautiful things of F1 TV Pro. You just get that camera because it just wasn't covered, so it was just technically being broadcast. Love it.
In F1 TV Pro, you can see all the overtakes that don't get shown.
Yeah.
Or that we get shown on a screen about that big.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the Haas, you can on F1 TV Pro.
I mean, we had just before the rain came, we had was it Alonso, Sainz, Ricardo, and Perez? We're swapping places constantly, and we just never saw any of it. We didn't see the pass for the lead as well, did we? When Norris overtook Sainz.
No, it was just, oh God, Norris is winning.
Which was
they were showing
absolutely
Verstappen when he was like stuck a second or something like that. And it just turns to Crofty. Norris is leading.
To be fair, I think the move did sort of just appear. It wasn't one where there was a bit of build up and whatnot. It was just, oh God, Norris is overtaking.
Yeah, but then Norris was within DRS. So why aren't you following? Because it could go to an overtake.
As much as we complain that the TV directorship just follows the lead sometimes when it's obvious that there's not going to be an overtake, they're in DRS range. It's Russia. Everyone overtakes into turn 2. That's like the place. If not turn 2, turn 4. But like, show it. You only have to show it for like 30 seconds, then you can go back to showing Verstappen being stuck in the middle of a queue. But like, come on, stop taking notes from Monaco. We don't need Lance Stroll. We don't
Speaking
need
of Lance Stroll,
it's team radio.
he got a 10-second time penalty after the race.
Which made absolutely no difference.
Yep.
It's the team radio he had when it rains.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's on Twitter.
Yeah.
And there's
and you
Brad
just
on the
can't hear
radio.
anything.
It's like, do you need some box or something like that? He's like, no, it's fine. About 3 seconds later, it spins.
Oh,
Sorry
it's like,
about-
oh, can you carry on in these conditions? Yes, spins.
So we had about
Love it.
5 different incidents when it rained.
They didn't
He crashed into
specify
Vettel.
which direction he had to carry on in. He took it as a circular motion.
Speaking of Brad, he's been promoted to like something higher up than race engineer. So someone else is now Lance's race engineer. So we won't get any moments like that anymore. Sad
No more pit confirm is the okay button, Brad.
no, no more. My brakes are on fire. It's fine. Drive fast.
But yeah, so Lance got a 10-second time penalty for crashing into Gasly. And Lance now has 8 penalty points.
Hulkenberg.
Joint top? Oh my God, please, Hulkenberg, because that's in my predictions. Lance, take one for the team, son, please.
Yeah, it's in mine as well, I think.
Hulkenberg because of a race ban would be
Well,
interesting.
we said it about Vettel, didn't we, at the start of the season when
He
had
got
loads
5
of Bahrain,
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Norris also receives a penalty,
He
but
got
not
reprimand.
one that impacts. Yes, it is just a reprimand. I think if you get 3 reprimands, you get banned.
No, you get a grid penalty.
Well, yeah.
I think it's
So-
a 10 place grid penalty.
Reprimands are very, very lenient.
It's very much of a slap on the wrist, but I mean, it's understandable when you watch what happened.
Yeah, it
He
was just
just-
you're a naughty boy.
He couldn't stop the car as much as he
Yeah.
couldn't stop the car for the corner on track, and he was going even slower when he was trying to come into the pits. So, yeah, I think
Speaking
that's a
of
fair
drivers
result.
not being able to stop the car, Leclerc at turn 10, I think it was, just sliding so close to the barrier.
Just,
No, I just
just see it coming closer. Stop. Okay.
I don't understand how did he finish? I mean, obviously he went off, didn't he? How did he finish 15th? Like, how did Bottas end up 5th? It was just impossible to follow, like the last few laps.
I mean, the picture of the positions just said it all. It was just mental.
It was like when Alonso was on the podium at one point. He probably would have been if it didn't go to Inters.
Yeah,
How did he end
it was
up,
going to
like,
be
sixth?
what is it? It was
I
going to
don't
be a Norris, Sainz, Alonso podium, and that was going to be amazing.
Norris Hamilton. So yeah.
So sad times.
Yeah, so Norris got a reprimand for crossing the white line and then crossing it again.
I think it's fair.
Could have got a penalty, but the stewards at the conditions and things. I bet like when they chose not to give Lewis a penalty in January 2018 for exactly
But
the
that
same
was
thing.
corruption, mafia.
But he only went
Hate
over the line
security.
one way.
Yeah, so what Norris done was arguably worse.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
sorry for Norris. Yeah.
Lewis was actually on the right tyres and therefore actually had grip, and Norris was not, and just couldn't stop the car anyway. So I still think it's very much a condition based, but it would have been harsh to penalise that, given that he's trying to come in to put the correct tyres on to try and actually be safer and drive properly. I mean, we've seen stranger things in Formula One.
Yeah, so what what the steward said was, although Lando chose to remain out on the track on the hard compound slicks when others went to the inters, therefore sought to gain an advantage in retaining his race position, they do not consider that the crossing of the painted area was intentional or predictable. So fair enough.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with the stewards.
Isn't this the second race in a row that you're agreeing with the stewards?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. I mean, I don't agree with them with Alonso,
Phew,
but that was just
Hmm.
funny, to be fair.
it's not going well if I'm agreeing with them.
Bias.
Jean Todd's been answering my emails
Thought Michael Massey hates McLaren, so why didn't he give them a penalty?
because I spoke to Jean Todt during the week and said, you know, it was a solid stop this agenda, and he said no problem, and
He
he
just
came
made
down
it
like a
rain
ton of
instead.
bricks. Yeah, that was not ideal. No, I told him to stop. I told Jean to stop Michael from deliberately targeting the McLarens, but he just turned on this Bernie Eccleston sprinkler valve, and there's not a lot I can do about that. So my email influence only goes so far.
In fairness, those sprinklers are actually still installed at Paul Ricard.
I think they should activate them at every other corner, just for the giggles, and then watch as the drivers struggle to decide whether they want wets or slicks. And then as soon as they make a decision, swap the valves, change the corners, and increase the velocity of the water.
It'd be funny if they turned him on by accident.
And they couldn't. Someone leant on the valve and broke it, and it's just on max spray, and then they can't fix it, and it's just a completely wet race because someone leant on something and it snapped.
I would actually enjoy going testing at Paul Ricard because we never get any wet weather testing. Like, put on the sprinklers and let us see the cars in the rain.
Yeah, it's basically like a giant skid pan test, isn't it?
It is actually a test circuit as well. That's the thing. Let's test.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you can run 1,000,000 miles wide and still not damage your car.
Exactly.
Hashtag car park.
Although, speaking of preseason testing, it's strongly thought that we're going to Barcelona and Bahrain next year.
Yeah, I think we
For
need
tests.
testing next year.
What, 1 week at each
Yeah.
sort of thing?
Yeah.
Mm.
And Barcelona will essentially be a shakedown test, and then Bahrain will be used for setting times and seeing how things go.
Shakedowns are less than 100 kilometers?
Not like actual shakedowns, there'll
Oh,
still
okay.
be proper tests,
Right, okay, cool.
but they'll expect everything to go wrong in Barcelona because it'll be the brand new cars.
Yeah, interesting.
And we're getting ever closer to this new era of Formula One. Only 6 races to go this season.
I love the fact this season's been so amazing that no one is registering the fact that we're 6 races away from everything being
It's-
completely shaken out.
It's the end
Yeah.
of September already.
Yeah. Like,
And
this
it-
has been a fantastic season, and I think that has taken away from the fact that everything could change in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
in a couple of months.
We are
World
only a few
champions.
months away from maybe.
Yeah, don't say such things.
I really want to
Mick
just like,
Schumacher world champion.
okay, that's fine. You've redeemed it. I was going to put you in the waiting room.
Yeah, we're maybe a few months away from Haas having the fastest car or Mercedes being in the midfield. But it's not impossible.
Or everyone having an identical car and
Yeah.
nothing happening because they all just crash into each other because they all go the same speed. And nobody knows how
Or-
to race someone in the same speed car anymore.
Or equally, we could have what happened in 2014, where Merck just went, lol, bye,
Yeah,
and won every race by about 30 seconds.
it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, like Merck prepared for that regulation change for so long, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's, I think we'd know by now if someone was going to be a long way ahead next year.
I mean, Haas have been spending a lot of time focused on next
could be, you never
year.
know. We're going to get, in Bahrain, we're going to get a repeat of 2014 with Schumacher and Mazepin.
The duel of the
I would
desert.
just like to point out the 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix was one hell of a race, and if we got a repeat of that, I would love it.
just I'd rather have I'd sort of like a hybrid of this year's Bahrain and that one, because we'd have Mazepin crash off at turn 3, but still have an epic fight at the front.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best of both worlds scenario.
But then wasn't the duel in the desert also the one where Gutierrez
Got flipped by
Flipped,
Pastor Maldonado. What a ledge. Oh man.
legend, the race winner, Pastor Maldonado? I still can't believe that he is a race winner.
I mean,
2012 or something now. Imagine if we get
He-
another 2012.
He has more race wins than Lando Norris.
I'm going to you.
Why would you have to say that? Why?
Because
Why?
Lando's a good driver.
Exactly.
And
Why do you have to
Pastor
say
liked
that?
crashing into people.
Exactly. Why do you have to say that?
To show the exclaim.
Hang on, where's the button? Options. Put in waiting room.
But yes, so we are getting closer, and that rumors and stuff I think will start to pop up about how teams are doing soon, and we'll have a lot of that
I
to
mean,
talk about.
there have been more meetings about the 2025 engine regs, and apparently we might be ditching the MGU-H because that would encourage new manufacturers, namely VW, to get involved, which is interesting. Another engine supplier is another. Well, it would essentially be a wild card at that point, wouldn't it? It would kind of be, well, in a way, it'd be like McLaren taking the Honda engine when they came back. It's a gamble, and it might be a GP2, or it might be an absolute rocket ship. So
You could put a rocket ship, and we would still be P11.
But you know, it's one of those things that if VW might do something differently that nobody else has thought of, and just have an extra like 20, 30 horsepower than everyone else and just laugh their way to the front of the field. And that one team that gambled and bought the VW engines is laughing their way to an initial world championship.
But
But
no way they can afford the Ferrari engines much longer.
Gene's looking for the ultimate budget option.
My God, imagine Haas being supplied by Red Bull.
Fiat.
Break down.
Because let's be honest, if you want to stick to your Italian, you go from Ferrari to a Bath, but a Bath is Fiat.
Haas, brought to you by Nissan.
But they do good. They have Nismos and GTRs.
You should get Chevrolet
And
in
Leafs.
The Haas powered by the Peel P50. I'd actually pay to see that.
Tesla should enter Formula E. Discuss.
Why haven't they? Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's their whole remit, isn't it? Electric cars, and they designed electric cars that go fast. So why not design electric cars that go the fastest?
And there's literally a gap in a team that's currently the world champions.
But Elon's more bothered about launching people into space than he is actually furthering a
Racing.
technology company.
Yeah.
Because why save the planet we're on when we can just brew in a second one? Richard's hot take number 2.
McLaren's supposed to be entering Formula E next season. Not
Extreme
this
E.
season coming.
They're
They-
into Extreme E.
They did also lodge a notice of interest of joining Formula E.
They might have changed that over to Extreme E now, because I wouldn't see them entering both, because that's
I
not a
don't-
lot.
I'm going to be honest, I don't really get Extreme E.
I think it's more to like promote like saving the environment, because they race in like
Here's the
extreme
polar bears that we're
conditions.
killing.
Yeah.
Let's hit them with a Jeep. That does seem like a risk of Extreme E, though. What if they do hit the animals that they're trying to save?
I don't think they go that close. I think that the selection of choices of locations are such that it's highlighting the effect that we're having on the environment.
I think
Its format is
the format is
mental
just
and
the format is just stupid, but I think it's meant to highlight like the issues that we're having, like extreme conditions, like the Arctic and
Deserts.
other places, which I can't remember.
The accelerated desertification of the planet because we're just killing everything and raising the planet's temperatures.
yeah.
And yet we're taking entire truckloads of people and cars and facilities.
That's what I was going to say. Is putting on a motor racing competition really the best way of showing that?
They transport all the cars and stuff by boat, so it's like I have all the
Still has
cars.
an engine.
Yes, but all the cars get taken at the same time on the same boat. It's like it's not.
Oh,
as
they
bad,
ride
like-
share. That's cute.
It's
Look
not.
at the
Like,
Formula One.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they have? Does that mean they have like an app like Lyft?
They all just, 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 they all just get Uber for the races.
Yeah. Uber boat.
Uber boat.
Uber boat.
But yeah, Formula One just share a plane.
Yeah, sometimes. Some of it.
Unless it's a European race, yeah, then they just drive.
Understandable in some ways. You can't really fit all of their stuff in one lorry.
And a lorry is still going to take you from Bahrain to China in enough time.
Yeah, I was thinking freight train, but even then you've got to get from the train to the track. And
yeah.
Zandvoort's on literally the coast. So don't think the train depot is going to go there. Yeah, it's one of the things that they're obviously looking at. Like they're looking at the fuels in Formula One to make them greener and more sustainable. They're looking at everything they can, really. But
they want Formula One to be net carbon zero eventually.
Yeah, it's just the problem of we need the rest of the world to do it as well.
Wasn't Formula E the first sport to do that? Was go like net carbon zero or something?
Yeah, I think Formula E is. Yeah. And they
I remember
put
seeing
on
something
a
about
sustainable race where they used less emissions than something.
They created less emissions than they used.
Yeah, basically.
Carbon negative, as it's known.
Yeah.
I don't know. My head's fried. I've been driving.
Yeah. Formula E did do something sustainability wise last season. I just can't remember exactly what it was. What else have we got to discuss this week?
Prediction results.
Yes, Richard, this is your section. I think we all did bad because most of us had Bottas on the podium.
So, shall we start with bold predictions?
Well,
sure.
Alex said Verstappen last to first with engine penalties. Ouch.
No.
Close.
One position off.
Ben,
get half a point.
Ben said rain for 2 laps. Why did you have to say that, Ben?
See, does he get the point?
No, because he
more
said
than 2 laps?
I said it at the start.
Yeah, he said for the start of the race.
Okay.
Chris, you said a Norris Verstappen podium. Oh, no Verstappen podium. I crossed that number. Yeah. I crossed that out. No Verstappen podium. Oh, you're wrong. What a shame.
You should have been right. Damn rain.
That's why Verstappen got the podium.
Yeah.
And then Nia, both Aston Martins and Ferrari in the top 10. Yikes.
One right.
You got one. Correct.
One.
You said Sainz would come third, but you then said Leclerc would come sixth, but he finished.
You can't claim a quarter
15th.
Don't talk about the rest of them. Just Sainz.
Vettel was supposed to come 5th and he finished 12th, and Stroll was supposed to come 8th and he finished 11th. So no mega bonus points for you. And I said Bottas bottle job, which I think it's fair to say he was.
Well, he actually gained positions.
Yes, but he
9 places in the last 5 laps.
Exactly. I would say that's
until the last 5 laps, he was languishing down the order, and he literally opened the door for Verstappen.
He finished ahead of Checo.
Yeah,
he also qualified like 7th or 8th.
Yeah, so even if he'd started, he'd still have gained positions. So I wouldn't say that's a bottle job.
I think we need to have a vote.
Yeah, but
I don't think you get a vote.
I don't think you get
he didn't do what he was sent back there to do. In my eyes, that's a bottle job.
Nia, what do you think? Does he deserve a point?
I mean, we're usually expecting Bottas to win the Russian Grand Prix, so
from 17th, right?
17th to 5th.
17th to 5th, yeah.
You put me.
Just say no. Just say no.
No point. No point. No point.
Damn it.
Yeah,
no points. Yeah.
That's all right, because Chris is still last in the podium predictions championship. You have 53 points.
Woo!
Then is Nia on 61 points. Then Ben on 62 points. Then Alex on 67 points. Then Sonia on 70 points. And then myself on 73 points.
I can still move into third with one race going well.
Sonia scored the highest this week with 4 points, and Alex scored the lowest with 2 points, and everyone else got 3. It was not a great. It was literally everyone. If you got one person in the right position, that was pretty much the only points you got.
How did everyone manage that except me? That's not fair.
What was Alex's podium?
Oh no, I did. I put Verstappen to win, so that's probably why.
Yeah, you had Verstappen and Hamilton the other way around. So unlucky.
Did everyone else put Hamilton to win or something?
No, Ben put Hamilton to win. Chris put Hamilton to win. Nia put Sainz for third. Me and Sonia put Hamilton to win.
Okay, fair enough.
Social media, Joe got 4 points for Verstappen, Bottas, Sainz, and Hrishi got 6 points for Hamverbot, which is pretty solid. Mazepin bingo. I won. Lol. Because he got lapped on lap 39 because it took an age for them to actually lap him because everyone just kept pitting and it was like, it was so close. You could see him up ahead and then it's like, yeah, that's just pit. So that.
I mean, can you blame them?
I mean, true, but still, it worked for my advantage because I was the highest numbered lap. So I get to claim that.
Didn't he like unlap himself from Norris a couple of times when he put into something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
No. Did he finish one lap down at the end?
It was two laps down, because that was when it was raining. Norris was going to lap him for a second time.
Oh,
he was undouble lapping himself.
Okay.
So he finished 2 laps down in the end. So I got that right, and he did finish. So everyone got that. So congrats, guys. We all got it right in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Next up is the Turkish Grand Prix, so get thinking.
Get some
about
baklava.
Your podium, pole, and bold predictions for next week's episode. We still don't know when the last sprint one is for the bonus points for Speed King.
We still don't know when the actual calendar is going to be released.
Good point. Yeah, because what was it? Did we do 1 extra point for Speed King? Yeah,
because it's essentially the same as qualifying.
Yeah. So there's going to be 1 extra point up for grabs at some point this season. Do keep giving us your predictions on social media as well. Stay involved, take part, have some fun. Yeah,
we've survived the first half a year. Now we're into the backstretch.
Have. Next week, we'll be bringing to you all the action from Formula 2 and Formula 3, featuring new Formula 3 champion, Dennis Hauger. Congratulations to him on winning the championship.
Spoiler alert.
Well, you got a line to Dennis or something? You're getting him
Oh,
on?
no, we're not getting him on. We're going to discuss it, yes.
That's a bit misleading. Featuring Dennis Hauger. And it's like, no.
Featuring discussions about Dennis Hauger.
Insert a picture of him.
Just a sock puppet.
I have his Snapchat because it's in his bio. That's the best we can offer.
Drop him a message
and get him on.
If you don't shoot your shot, you don't hit the target.
True.
What is it they say in FIFA, Alex? If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle.
You don't win the raffle.
So yeah, Formula 3 concluded. Please tell me he'd wrapped up the championship before they cancelled the race.
Yeah, he did in race 1.
Yeah.
As I say, I hope he didn't win the championship by them cancelling a race.
Yeah, no, it was in the race that they brought forward.
Yeah, because they raced on the Friday, didn't they?
Yeah, he went on a Friday.
Yeah, didn't the team win on the Saturday and wasn't it Trident that won?
Yeah, Trident won.
Yeah.
Because they got first and third. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that. We've only got 2 races to talk about in Formula 2 because race 1 just didn't happen. Lol, laughs and rain affected session.
Laughs in Spa.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pain.
You had one race where we didn't race. Now we have one race where you didn't race.
Actually, did Formula 3 have all 3 of their races?
Honestly, I've got no idea. I haven't seen it yet. I was horrendously stressed.
No, they only had 2.
Yeah, they released the starting grid for race 2 and then just didn't race.
Yeah, because weren't the teams told something like they were told to go out and then they were told to come back in because you have to set up in front of the F1 teams. They were told to set up and then told to go back to their paddock. It was something like that. Yeah.
Leave this place. But yeah, they released the provisional starting grid and things to get ready. And then
anyway, that's for next week.
Yeah, that's for next week, where we'll talk about how they weren't ready for rain. Just like Formula 1 wasn't ready for rain in Spa.
Hey, at least they moved a race forward.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Thing is, even if they didn't do that, we'd still have got 2 races.
Yeah, but let's save it for next week.
We'll save that for next week. Are
Can't use all our content now.
we forgetting anything?
Other than the general, send us your predictions for Turkey ready for next week's episode.
Yep, and you could feature?
Because that is going to be after we've discussed Formula 2 and 3, we'll be doing our predictions.
And
And
we're
talking-
discussing the Schumacher
We
documentary
are.
as well.
Yeah.
If someone watches it.
I'm watching it on the plane.
That's what you said on last week. You said you were going to watch it for last week, but here we are.
And on that bombshell,
I made this promise on air though, so it's okay. This one is this one I have to stick to.
I'm pretty sure I've probably got it somewhere in bloopers.
Yeah, that's bloopers. They didn't make it out.
Yet.
Yeah.
Laughs in, I have been editing a video, but I also haven't had the time to actually finish editing it yet because I had to organize moving my entire life with 12 days notice.
Fun.
But we succeeded and we're here.
Woo!
It looks
All
great,
right.
doesn't it? My completely bare mattress with its mattress protector, because I literally moved in this afternoon and the first thing I set up was my laptop because I knew we were recording the podcast.
Priorities.
Hey, look, see, Netflix, Schumacher, downloading.
So
I'm getting ready for my flight.
And then as soon as we go off air, he's going to press cancel
Yeah.
and undownload.
No, I need something to watch on the flight, and I don't have data, so I need to download it. But yeah, so I will hopefully be joining you next week from hopefully sunnier than Scotland, Italy, depending on how good the Wi-Fi is.
I will be so amused if it rains more than it does in Scotland there.
That would take a lot of effort.
Yeah, I was going to say that possible.
Mm.
The only thing I've realised, though, is that means I'm going to be recording at like 10 to 12 at night.
Oh, that also means we could probably get started a bit earlier since you're not working.
Also true, we could probably start on time, yes. Wait, let me check that I'm not working with UEFA that day. I have a rehearsal until 9:30 Italian time. So that's 8:30 this time.
Okay.
So
Well,
we'll start about the same time as this week.
get your skates
I mean,
on.
that is basically just starting time now, isn't it?
Yeah.
8:30.
Yeah, I love the way it used to be 7.
Yeah.
Went to 7:30.
We started out really nice and
Yeah.
pristine and prompt, and it's just drifted.
Yeah, we finish by 10 usually. And
It's
now
now
it's
8
almost
minutes
11.
to 11. Yeah. Why don't we just start recording on Tuesdays?
Because
None
I
of us
have
could do
work.
That's a
none
good
of us could
point,
do
yeah.
Tuesdays.
And we want to get our content out sometime before the next race week starts,
Mm.
rather than when all of the drivers show on their Instagrams that they've arrived at the next circuit.
Anyway, thank you for watching, listening, however you decide to consume our content.
There's no other
Um,
way to watch our content. Just watching and listening.
People- People will find a way. Someone is watching it in sign language.
The FBI are currently watching.
Yeah,
FBI.
the FBI are watching it live. But no, thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the first half a year of the Turn 5 podcast. We've certainly enjoyed making it. It has been a lot of fun. So thank you for sticking with us. And here's to another half a year.
And hopefully many more half years.
Yeah.
Rather than just one more.
Well, let's take it in small chunks. Let's get to a year, then think about another year, and then go from there. We'll keep you up to date with, speaking of half a year, our plans for over the winter break. Because as we all know, Formula One can go a bit just silent in January until February when it's car launch season.
We'll think of something.
We'll think of something, yeah, even if it's just weekly quizzes.
We can waffle.
Yeah.
We
But-
will waffle.
We will.
Christmas
Filler
episode.
episodes.
Just about how excited we are for car launch season.
We went from talking about Monaco to Singapore. I think we can waffle quite a bit.
Good
Yeah.
point.
We
Yeah, but
are
that's because-
champion wafflers.
That's because the
So-
Singapore Grand Prix that got cancelled was still more exciting than this year's Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Was that an actual race review, or was this
Yes.
that? Oh,
Yes, this was the race review.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
This wasn't even the preview. This was the review.
Mm.
But yeah, thank you very much for watching and sticking with us for half a year. And we will see you next week for Formula 2-3 from Russia and the Schumacher documentary. Ta for now.
I'll try and get the bloopers done as fast as I can. Bye.